What's up, universe? It's 2019. You know what that means? It's time for another Fourshade Studios podcast.
Yeah,
We've got a lot
boys.
planned this year. More dancing, more singing, more video games, more Nintendo talk. Dancing.
That's
I'm Brock
definitely-
Ferguson, and these people are...
I'm Blake Bodenhammer. I like
I'm
to
Devin.
do this.
Oh God, I'm Devin Devon. Sorry.
And we're going to talk about stuff just for you. So what stuff are we talking about today?
We got lots of stuff. Lots and lots of stuff.
So much news.
So much stuff, you'll be amazed we have stuff.
We have leaks.
We have leaks.
We don't have leaks. But sure, you can say we
Trying
have
to get the
leaks.
people excited.
Okay, we had so much stuff that we're doing exactly what everybody else on the internet is doing and telling you our bests and worsts of the year / Switch time.
Yeah, let's just say that. Let's say
Switch time.
Switch's lifetime. This is the Switch's, what, second year being alive?
Second, yeah.
I'd say so.
I'm a child. I love it so.
Yep.
But yeah, we since we started this podcast so late, we didn't have enough opinions about 2018, so we have to go back a little further. But that just means that you can disagree with us even more.
Yeah.
That's the point here.
Drop it down in the comments.
And the email and Twitter and Facebook and YouTube and
Spotify.
yeah, yell at Spotify for us.
Yeah, disagree with me on every level of my life.
So yeah, that's what's up. Devin, kick us off.
Okay, so our first category is best indie game. So mine was Stardew Valley. I really love this game. I've played it so much, probably a disgusting amount. I've made multiple characters. We've tried to get Brock to play it, but he refuses.
True.
And I don't know why, because he has played it at our apartment and he liked it. But maybe one day.
I live in Missouri. We have farms all around here. I don't need a virtual one.
It's not a getaway. It's not a...
Live on a farm,
It's too
though. You
real.
can simulate life on a farm.
Please don't stalk me. Please. So yeah.
Stardew Valley's pretty good. But I picked a different indie game. I was like kind of torn on this one. I said either Crawl or Hollow Knight. Have you played either of those?
I have played Crawl. I've watched you play Hollow Knight, and I really like the art style in it. I think it's really cool, and I like how dark it is, and the palette's like really simple. And I like that there's so much to explore in it. And then Crawl's just really fun to play with people. I like that you can be the bad guy too.
Yeah, it's like I feel like Crawl is like the reason kind of why I picked it is because I feel like it doesn't get enough publicity almost for how like cool it is. It's basically like just a party game. You can play with up to 4 people. One of you is the hero, and then the rest of you are basically enemies. And you're trying to get through a dungeon, and basically the hero is trying to stay alive. The bad guys can kill the hero. There's like a whole evolution system. There's a whole crazy combat system, and yeah, it's just very cool. So check that out if you haven't played it. And Hollow Knight, like Devin was saying, it's just like the art style is just like amazing. Just the whole concept of you're like in this underground dungeon and like everyone's a bug. I just like that because there's so many like if you really think about it, there's so many different types of bugs and each one is like special in its own sort of way. So like they like lend themselves to being like these unique characters. So
Yeah.
just cool. Like bugs are like little knights that they have armor on the outside.
Fair enough. Yeah, you've made me play Crawl plenty of times, and while I suck at it, it is enjoyable. Until I suck too much.
I personally like being the bad guy better. Like
Me
seeing all
too.
the weird, gross monsters. It's really fun. And especially like when you get the really cool one that you've upgraded and the hero's like, oh God, please no. Like stay away
Yeah.
from me. And it's really fun.
Yeah, since I haven't played it so much, every time I play, it's like when I'm upgrading, I don't know what they do, so I have to just pick on which looks the coolest,
Right.
which is actually usually a bad thing because some of the stupidest looking ones are actually the most awesome.
Yeah.
So I kind of like the grab bag of not knowing what I'm going to get, even though I know you can learn all that and probably, pick the same thing every time. For me, it's fun to just, experiment. So yeah.
What'd you pick, Brock? What was your?
I did a dummy pick because let's be honest here, I play Nintendo things and that's about it. First party, big studio stuff. So the only third or indie game I can think of playing this year was Undertale, and that's because Blake, Devin, redacted, all told me to play it over the last 4 years, and I played this year.
Yeah. Well, like one thing that I think is cool is that like Switch is getting some indie love, which is always good to see. Like I was worried that all these indie games that had come out for like other consoles, like a lot of these started off on like Steam, but then like they made their way to PS4 and Xbox One, but now they're like actually getting released for Switch, and some of them like I didn't get the chance to like play on those other consoles, so it's like this is like the perfect time just to like pick those up, even if it's for like the first time.
Right. Yeah, I think it's great. I actually haven't played any indie games this year because there have been so many first party things. I haven't ever,
Right.
went looking for them.
Mhm.
If this is a nitpick, but if the shop had a review system and I could go see the top indie games and like right there, I'd be tempted to buy so many things. But right now, I'm able to ignore them because
Yeah, that is
there's-
true. I almost kind of wish there was like a indie section on the shop. Like
Yeah.
that would be helpful.
if you could like use the filters more. I feel like the shop is lacking in some areas.
So next year, I'm gonna have
Yes.
way more opinions because the shop's gonna get better, right?
I doubt it.
Oh, I'd like to give an honorable mention. I really like the game Minute. And I played it on the PS4, but I know it's for Switch, so I'm going to include it anyway. But basically, you have a minute to play through, like, your life as the character, and then you die, and then you restart. But you keep the things that you pick up as you play through the game, and I just thought that was a really fun and neat idea. And it really, like, creates a sense of urgency. I thought it was really fun, and I like the art style. It's pretty cute.
With that game, I was like surprised how big of a world
Yeah.
there actually was for just being like able to stay alive for a minute. Because like you'd think you have a minute of gameplay, like how big can this game actually be? How big can the world actually be? But I was like, it's actually surprisingly big.
Mm-hmm.
They like do some creative stuff to kind of get around the 1 minute loophole.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not like a massive game by any means, but definitely larger than I would have expected, for sure.
Right.
It's always a good thing to discover. Yeah, keep it interesting instead of playing through the same area like 14 times,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
14,000 times. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Any other honorable mentions? We can
I
give
don't
away as
have
many
any.
of those as we want.
Yeah, we are giving away all these awards tonight. We're giving them to the game studios themselves.
Yes.
We'll be hand mailing these.
One of the awards is the plastic water bottle with the Eevee face that Poe rejected.
Perfect.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Oh,
gonna give
okay.
her that.
Sorry. So sorry.
That's a trophy for Fourshade
That's
Studios
a
Museum.
eBay. I'm putting that on eBay.
Cool.
All
So
right.
category 2.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
This game character.
Can you say that again?
No.
Okay.
Okay. All right, Blake, what's your coolest game character since you gave that great introduction to it?
Well, Brock said cool, and then I was thinking like, oh, that's an awesome segue.
Now you know why I'm the host forevermore.
Yeah. Okay, so I said either the Hollow Knight, the Knight from Hollow Knight. some more Hollow Knight love, or just Link from Breath of the Wild. Like, I guess I talked Hollow Knight already to death, but just awesome artwork. If you haven't like seen the artwork for that, the main character is just so cool looking. Like, you have like your weapon is called the nail, and I don't know if it's a literal nail because you're like
I
a
hope
bug,
it is.
but just like your sword is awesome looking, and just the way that the combat is in that game, it's so like smooth, and there's so many different like ways you can fight things that it just makes the character itself just seem that much cooler. I don't know a good way to describe it. But also like with Breath of the Wild, I thought Link was like super cool in this iteration just because he's wearing like, you know, like the hood and like, I don't know, it's just like so like it's so much better seeing him like in that form to me than just in like a little like weird green hat.
Yeah, he looks like a child in most games. I
Yeah.
loved how customizable he was and how many different outfits he had. Like, could even be really nerdy and just like switch his outfit every day. Like he has to change his clothes or something.
Sounds like you might have done
I
that.
didn't go that far.
I mean, I've thought about it.
But yeah, like I just like when I think of Link, I usually think for some reason like the first image that pops into my head is like Ocarina of Time style with like adult Link, he's in the green tunic, but just this version I thought was so cool looking. And all like the different powers he had with all the different runes, just way cooler. So yeah, those are my two.
So my favorite character was also from Breath of the Wild, but it was Urbosa. She's so cool. Love a good matriarch. And then I don't know, just her whole personality was like so cool and like really supportive of Zelda when, you know, she wasn't being able to manifest her powers, and like she seemed really strong, and also her power, Urbosa's Fury, is so good. It's way overpowered. Like all of the all of the hero champion, whatever they're called, the four
Champions.
Yes, those guys. The champion powers, they're all overpowered, but Urbosa is really cool. And she can conduct thunder and lightning, and that's really awesome. And just imagining her like running around on a sand seal. Love it.
That's true.
I just learned her name. I thought this was a character I didn't know. I know that character.
You do. You should at least.
Yeah, I do remember that part. She's pretty cool. So, +1 for me. My cop-out answer for this question, because I didn't really have one, is your starting Pikachu and or Eevee in Pokemon Let's Go. They may not be cool, but man, are they adorable. And I know. And that's one of the things that if you were to tell me, you can pet, well, before the game released, we knew we could pet our Pikachu, we knew we could pet our Eevee, and I thought, okay, sure. Well, I do it just for the heck of it, because it makes me happy, because it's great. It's amazing. So, Pikachu and Eevee are pretty cool, because they give me happiness.
When we were playing through Eevee version, we did notice that. I didn't notice this at first until Devin said something, but like,
yeah, I was just about to say
they're
this.
actually, the Eevee is like actually different looking. Like,
is Pikachu the same?
I mean, I have a female Pikachu, but I didn't realize if it actually.
Well, like you know how Eevee has kind of like the mane, kind of like the collar of fur.
Yeah.
It's like more full, and like the tail is like much fuller.
Mm-hmm. And the eyes are a different color too. They're more purple instead of brown, and I think they're a slightly different shape.
Right.
I'm guessing the same is true with Pikachu too, but
yeah. So it's like I was surprised that they even like made it like a step up from just, you know, just like the run of the mill Eevee or something.
Right. But imagine all of the Pokemon were locked up like that.
Yeah. The cooler version.
The next game, you can actually walk up to the Pokemon instead of throwing Pokeballs at them. You can just go pet them.
Yeah, pet them. Pokemon Petting Zoo, 2019.
Bring
Didn't that
back
already
the
come out?
Safari Zone.
Yeah, what the heck? Can we
Yeah, I was
address that real
pissed.
quick?
I was so mad about that. It was just like the zoo portion of it. No, you got like some of the coolest Pokemon in the Safari Zone. I mean, granted, you could get it in like other portions of that game, but it was really fun going to the Safari Zone, and you had like a time limit, and you had to make it all the way to the end to get the Warden's teeth or whatever, instead of just finding them randomly at the beach with Team Rocket. So random. I mean, it's random that they're at the end of the Safari Zone anyway, but
Or that you even have to do that in the first place.
yeah, like who loses their golden dentures in a weird animal park? I don't know.
Okay, Devin, just go pet your Eevee and be okay.
Right,
Yeah.
You're right. Sorry.
But yeah, there were a bunch of weird story changes and just general changes for why that I didn't understand in that game. But none of them really made it worse for me.
Yeah. I mean, like, I can see why they did it. Like, I feel like that was like that was one of the hardest parts for people, and they didn't want to, like, it's a casual game. They didn't want to be like, oh, here, you only have like 300 steps or whatever it was to get to the end. Plus, they had to tie in Pokemon Go, which kind of, I don't know. That's a whole nother can of worms.
Ruined it. Didn't ruin it, but definitely looking forward to the next game. And hopefully it won't be as easy and watered down in some parts.
You're just too good, Devin.
I know.
Yeah, these casuals out here.
I'm like the most casual player ever. Oh well. Okay, so easiest time wasting games. Brock, I believe you have not gone first yet, so start us off.
Well, I just took this as the game I wasted the most time with, and Rocket League won that by a long shot.
I always see you in Rocket League.
Not that I think it's the best game ever or that it's something special. It's just easy to sit down, play a bunch of games, and 3 hours are gone. And I can't do that with a lot of video games. So yeah, Rocket League. I think everybody pretty much knows what that is by now. Since I'm like, 5 years late? I think that was released on Steam forever ago.
Yeah, probably about.
And let me be clear, nobody wants to challenge me. I'm terrible. But that's also a reason why I play it for 3 hours, because I can be terrible and no pressure.
I guess my easiest time wasting game, I wrote here Mario Kart, which I still agree with. It's easy to just kind of join a game with a bunch of people online and kind of like drive around for a while, and I'm not even really that competitive. I don't really care. I just think it's fun to race against people. Brock.
Yeah, so I thought to do this on a fundamental level. Mario Kart is the most stressful thing you can possibly play online.
I guess I get competitive against like you and Blake when we're all playing in the same room, but like I don't care about the other people.
I'm like the opposite. Like when we're all playing in the same room, like we're always just like on some like Discord or something, and I'm just like not even paying attention.
But I guess my second nomination, I'm basically copying off of Blake's and what he wrote, but Stardew Valley.
Oh, cool, thanks.
I'm so sorry, but I've wasted so much time on this game. Like, I've played it 10 hours straight before, and I don't know, I really like this game. There's just so much to do in it. I feel like I could play it forever.
So I did put Mario Kart in Stardew Valley. Mario Kart, just because you can, just the races, you can take them in like such quick doses. Like if you just want to pop online, it's just like oh, I'll just do one race online, and then it's like, well, I'll do another one. I'll do another one, and then like before you know it, you've done like 10 races, which I don't know how long each race takes, but I feel like it definitely can like add up after a while, especially if you're like not only online, but if you're playing it like just like on single player on the cups or whatever. To get through a single cup, you have to do 4 races, which I mean, whatever the time is there, I feel like that's a pretty big time commitment. But then also Stardew Valley, kind of for the same reason, but just a tiny bit different. It's like for me, when I play Stardew Valley, it's so like goal oriented. I'm like, oh, I want to go like harvest my crops today. I want to like get through fall. I want to go explore the caves or something. And like in the middle of doing one of my like little goals I've set out to do, I'll like get this secondary goal and I'm like, oh, I got to do that first. Then I'll get back to exploring the cave.
Breath of the
So-
Wild syndrome?
Yeah, pretty much.
Mhm.
Like it's just like one thing just leads me down this other rabbit hole, and then I'm like, oh, okay, I played this for 50 hours today.
50
that make
hours in
sense?
one day.
Impressive.
It's
You're 10.
possible.
Pathetic.
That's what it feels like. So yeah, that's what I would say. Mario Kart or Stardew Valley, just because you go in, you think you're gonna play them for just like 10 minutes, but then it ends up being like an hour or two.
Yeah. I could see that. And that's one of the big reasons why I haven't bought Stardew Valley. I mean, I don't need that in my life.
Yes, you do. Make a farm with us.
That's true. Multiplayer's out.
So
I
that way,
respect.
if we have multiple goals in one day, one of us can pick one
Yeah.
task and the other can pick the other. It
So we
works
could
out.
play together, but not.
Right, we can
Amazing.
play together alone.
Exactly.
Okay, you know what's going to happen if we get in the same farm? Blake's going to plant his crops in some pattern that I hate. I'm going to go through unplant all of his crops
Cool.
and plant them in a different pattern that I see as more efficient or something.
I'll just spend all my time fighting in the cave then,
Okay.
and I'll bring back the spoils.
I'm just gonna ride my horse around and try and find someone to marry.
Oh,
As
okay.
you should.
Cool.
So yeah, eventually it will happen.
I doubt it, but okay.
Okay, next up is most infuriating game. For me, this is Splatoon 2 because I am atrocious at shooters and I can't figure I don't know. I just like can't. First of all, I don't have the skill to. I'm sorry.
Get
this is
good.
horrible. I don't have the skill, but also when I play games where I'm constantly like looking around for other people, I like get sick, and so I just don't like any sort of shooter game at all.
So you have no real problems with Splatoon 2. You just have
You just have
personal
problems.
problems.
Yes, it's very much a personal thing.
You have a
Splatoon
no
2.
video game gene.
No, it's cool. I like the characters and the design of everything, and I'm sure it's a great game in theory, but I just hate shooting games.
Okay.
Fair enough. Once again, I guess I kind of cheated with this. So infuriating. I'm just going to say every time I launch the NES emulator for whatever you call it, the online NES thing, I'm preparing myself to be infuriated by whatever I play just because of the nature of those games. And at this point, Zelda's gotten me the most riled up of all of them just because of, I don't know, just because of how bad I am. You're right, Devin. This is a personal thing.
Thank you.
Don't blame the game, blame the player.
Yeah. Yep, it's so unforgiving, and it's somehow hurts worse when you're getting killed by a blue pixel and a black pixel stuck together. And that's
Yeah.
it.
I agree.
Instead of like a full 3D,
Yeah.
modeling.
Well, it's like, yeah, because it's like if you get hit by like a black dot, it's like, this is stupid. This isn't like a dragon or something. This isn't a sword. Like, what is this?
So yeah,
That's what I picked too. I picked the like NES online library, just that whole collection of games, and this is like just holds true for all older games. They're just like, I feel like some of them are designed to be like infuriating, just because of like their arcade nature. That we're kind of like moving out of the era of like arcades, where like that you were almost designed to die because that's how arcade machines made money. But yeah, for all those reasons, the NES games just like I feel like I come out of them like not feeling like fulfilled because I had fun, but like just angry. I'm just like, this game is stupid. And then like it takes me like a week to like go back into them, which I don't think is a good thing, but whatever.
viewers might have noticed the lack of Metroid updates, I think.
Yeah. Like we started playing Metroid. We played it for one like session, and
A
then
good hour and a half or so.
we need to get back into it, but it's just like it's so hard to get like back to that. It's just like, why go back to this punishment? But then my other pick, this is just kind of like a cheap one, I feel like, is Dark Souls. The original Dark Souls came out for the Switch. Been playing through that just kind of off and on, and obviously, if you know anything about Dark Souls, it's very difficult. It's very unforgiving, but it is kind of fair. I'd say it's fair. You know all the rules going in, but it's just like I know exactly what I need to get done, but the enemies just kill me. So it's just like I'm not good at it enough yet. That's just like I know what I need to do, but I just can't. So yeah.
Once again, personal problem.
Yeah, I need to train. I need to train for hours to get past.
To be the very best that no one ever was.
Like no one ever was.
But singing.
Yeah.
No? Okay.
Give me 2 seconds. I forgot my charger. Keep talking.
Okay. Well, we're gonna move on without you.
Fourshade, let's go.
Wow. Okay, so the most fun, or I guess funnest, multiplayer game. Brock, what was the most fun multiplayer games for you?
So, once again, I can't just answer the question. I have to answer the question with technicalities.
Okay.
Most fun, as in just general laugh out loud, this is amazing fun, was Mario Tennis Swing Mode with the gigantic ball, 4 players in a room. It's amazing because it's so broken that it's just it's organized chaos. So, and organized chaos is always fun if you ask me. So, yeah, nothing has beat that as far as just screaming and yelling at the screen because things aren't going your way and everybody's having a blast.
I do remember when we were all in the same room playing that.
Like, it was so infuriating. That should have been the most infuriating game.
I feel like everyone had a Joy-Con and was just like swinging it back and forth like crazy.
And nothing was happening until after the ball went past, and then it was like freaking backhand swing instead of forehand, which is what you wanted. I don't know. It was really bad.
But I thought it was fun. Yeah, so my first answer was that, but I fully recognize that's not really a good game. It's just fun. My best multiplayer game would actually be Smash Brothers because it's a good game and it's Smash Brothers, and
right.
I legitimately enjoy playing the game in multiplayer mode, which is not what Mario Tennis is.
Yeah.
How about you, Devin and or Blake?
So I'm just gonna pick one so that I don't keep stealing Blake's answers.
Oh, thanks.
I'm gonna pick Super Mario Party. I thought it was really, really fun. There have been times like we'll meet up with people that we've met here to go play Mario Party, and it's been really great. And I like that one game lasts about an hour, so you like have this little investment that you're spending time with people, and it gets really competitive, and I really like it. And I just really love all the different dice blocks and all the things we've talked about in a previous podcast. It was really user friendly and really like awesome gameplay, I thought.
Okay, so I'm gonna I have like a bunch of them. But I'm gonna combine two of them for the same reason. So, I put Mario Kart and Mario Party. The reason why I think those two are fun is because they have a super low barrier to entry. Like Mario Kart, they added so many things in this version that like an infant can play it. They have like the self-accelerating cars, they have the like auto accelerate, like all of those things that they added, like anyone can play this game. If like you don't even have to press a button and you will move. Like you can hold the controller and you can get like probably 6th place. So it's like you don't even have to worry about like if you're playing this game with like non-gamers or like your grandma or whoever you're playing this with, like in theory you're gonna have fun playing it, which I think is kind of like the point of like a fun multiplayer game. It's like everyone can play it. Same thing with Mario Party. Like I feel like the idea of a board game is just like it's ingrained in our society that people know how to roll a die and move up a piece. And like the mini games that go in between each round are so like simple. Like they have one goal, most of them, that it's pretty easy to explain to someone. It's not like, oh, you have to press this complex button combination to do a special attack or something. So yeah, those two for that reason, the barrier to entry is like super low, so like anyone can play them. And then I also put the Jackbox games. They're designed to be fun multiplayer games, but this was like the first time I'd played those games, and it just happened to be on the Switch again. It's like Switch is getting some of like this love that I hadn't gotten a chance to play on the other consoles, so I'm like experiencing it for the first time here. But yeah, like those games are super well designed. They're designed to be party games, and they're designed to just like kind of build bonds with the people that you're in the room with. So
yeah, I feel like I get to know people when I play like what is the one?
Like Whiplash or something.
Yeah, Quiplash, that's the one, or like Faking It or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like those games too. That was the other one that I had put, but I wanted to not steal your thunder again. What I want to see is Infant Mario Kart. Infant Mario Kart.
Oh, okay.
I want to see Mario Kart.
That could be a feature.
Ooh, oh, yeah!
I was actually like thinking about that. You know how like they have like the whole Twitch plays Pokemon?
Yeah.
I was thinking of like Poe plays games. like somehow like track his eye movement, like to do, like move in a game or something.
Well, now you've ruined it. You've shouted out to the world, so someone else is going to do it.
Sorry. Track eye movement for like actual movement in the game. Blinks are like A button presses or something.
If you program that,
you make a lot of money.
Yeah.
This is a whole genre of dog games.
Yep.
There are like some video games for dogs. Like there's this app that we downloaded on our iPad
that's not even a game.
Okay, but it is for him. It's basically like this little dog that zooms around the screen, and he like does this to the screen, and if he catches it, it squeaks, and it infuriates him, and it's really funny to watch.
So when's it coming to Switch?
Intelligent. Yeah, when can a dog scratch up your Switch screen?
Yes.
That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
What do we got next? What's our next category?
I think the art students should.
Oh yes, I agree.
Most interesting art style / graphics. Okay, I'll start. So I really like Stardew Valley and Shovel Knight. I like the whole pixelated look, and I like that it's a more updated version of it, so they do have like highlights and shading and things like that, and everything's like, well, not more so in Shovel Knight than in Stardew Valley, and like things are bouncing around like they would be moving or whatever. I don't know. It was just like a nice updated version of pixel graphics. And I really love how Zelda looks too.
Yeah,
It's beautiful. It's the most beautiful thing ever.
For mine,
Go.
I'll cut you off. It's okay. I put Hollow Knight and Crawl. Hollow Knight we've talked about already. Just the whole like subterranean world is just awesome. I was looking at this diagram of like the making of Hollow Knight, and I want to say it was made in Unity, and they were showing all the different layers that the artist had made, and like it showed it in an isometric view, and you could just see like all of these, like I can't even remember how many. There's like 20 layers that make just like one frame of gameplay, which is just like so cool to me. Just like just the attention to detail. Like you could have very easily made like one flat background, you know, but like just everything like makes this like crazy atmosphere when you're like underground. There's all these different plants, there's all these different bugs flying around. So yeah, that just like how detailed it is, and just like the whole dark art style is cool for Hollow Knight. And then Crawl, very like, how do I want to explain this? It's like it's pixel art. They do so much detail, I feel like, with such little pixels. Like they'll have a guy who's literally like probably 10 pixels, but the animation that they've made to go along with the sprite is just like crazy to me.
Yeah.
So like I was super impressed like how much, like how alive they could make their art feel with so little.
Yeah, actually, I can notice that the game is chaos while you're playing it, because you've got
Right, yeah,
people going from corner to corner around the screen. But even with the very, very pixelated graphics, you can tell what's going on without a problem.
Right.
Yeah, with bad graphics, that game would be unplayable.
Right. What do you got, Brock?
I only really care about art style or graphics if I notice them, if they stand out to me. So, like Devin said, Stardew Valley's nice just because of the wide range of colors that they have in their different pixels. So it just feels bright and happy to me, and that's why I like the game but haven't bought it yet. Zelda's another obvious choice. Like you can stop and take a screenshot basically anywhere, and it just looks good.
Yeah.
And that's really
true.
that's all I care about. The last one I think is kind of a weird pick, but it's Smash Brothers. Mostly because there have been so many times that I've paused the game and then thought, wow, that looks so much better than I expected it to.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
once you actually start looking at it. What I've noticed particularly is all of the, like, character models and clothing, I guess, all has different textures, I guess.
Yeah.
And how light bounces off of it really makes them look like textures. And that's not something that a Smash game has ever had.
Right.
So for me, it's every time I pause it and zoom in, it's like that scene in the Smash Brothers Melee opening, where it's Mario and his jeans are just blue, and then they turn into denim.
Right. Yeah.
Every time I pause Smash and then zoom in, I'm like,
bless you.
Wow, that necklace looks like metal, and then
Right. Yeah.
So I've been thoroughly impressed with just the detail and the character models and everything else that's in that game. Even though you don't get to admire it all while you're playing, and then frankly, you don't really care. I mean, it doesn't make the game better, but
Right. But being able to distinguish the individual fibers in Mario's overalls is very satisfying.
Satisfying, that is the word. Yes.
Well, like, I think it's also important to point out that like they have all these characters from all these different games that have their own art style, but when you're playing with all of them in the same game, I don't feel like any of them look out of place, which is, I think, kind of impressive.
Yeah, the only ones that are out of place are the ones that are meant to be out of place, a la Game and Watch. Like,
right, yeah, but like somehow they make it work to me.
Yeah, and Smash actually comes across as looking like kind of serious, I think.
Right.
When it's a bunch of cartoons fighting, and like you said, they all should look completely corny on the same screen, but it doesn't. So yeah, that's a good thing to point out. It's a Smash.
Well, next we have the most Nintendo decision of 2018.
So I'll explain this because this is my thing. I think it's pretty well known that we all love Nintendo, but at the same time, we hate Nintendo for a lot of reasons. They do so many things that make you want to go, why?
Right.
Why? So Nintendo decisions to me are those, why? It could have been so much better if you just did this tiny thing differently.
Right.
So with that, my Nintendo decision of the year was when YouTube finally got added to the Switch a year exactly after Hulu got added to the Switch. Which, this sounds kind of pedantic, I guess. But to me, that says that Nintendo got a deal with Hulu and said, you can be our only streaming service on the Switch for an entire year. Well, the rest of everybody in the world doesn't give a dang about Hulu and wanted YouTube from the start. So when it finally appeared, and they didn't even try and hide it because it literally was a year after they added Hulu, we're all like, yay, they're going to add more. It's finally, it's finally happening. What has changed since then? Nothing. But we have.
It's like, why Hulu? It's like a paid service versus YouTube, which is a non-paid service. Mm-hmm. It's just like obviously it just looks like money grabbing.
Yeah, that's all it is, if you ask me. So yeah, that's my Nintendo decision of 2018.
Speaking of money grabbing, I feel like the decision to make people pay for an online subscription was really weird. And I really feel like the only reason that they did that was for money grabbing, because it's not like any better than it was, in my opinion. It doesn't really seem like they've changed a whole lot. It's just like you now have to pay to play online with your friends. I don't know.
Just like the way that they did it, I feel like was kind of poor. Like they had it for free for so long that the trial period almost, I feel like, tricked people into thinking it was just free. Mm-hmm. And then like I really feel for younger kids that just one day couldn't play an online game.
Yeah.
Because the online service started that day. And like I don't know, it's just like weird to me that they would do it that way. Because like I feel like Nintendo has always been kind of like as like seen as catered towards children, so that they would at least think about that. But I don't know. I just remember how weird it was, like being a kid and like having to ask your parents. Like I couldn't even imagine like being like, "Hey, mom and dad, can I have Nintendo online?" They'd be like, "You have a Switch. We already bought you this," you know?
Yeah. Like having to pay $20 extra like every year just so you can play your games with people is so weird. I don't know. Also, didn't they announce it during like the final Smash reveal? or something?
No, they
No?
like
Okay.
announced it like at the launch of the console.
Yeah,
Oh, I
but
see, I see.
it kept getting pushed back. Got pushed back like
Yeah,
years.
Oh, I see, okay.
they had it so it was a year trial. They were like, if you buy the Switch, you can have online for free for a year.
Okay.
But just like the way they did it, like I don't have a problem with them like you having to pay for it because that's just what I'm used to. Every other system that I own, PS4 or whatever, I'm used to that like online you pay for it. But just the way they went about it, I thought was just weird.
I think you guys are both being entitled pricks because you both know exactly where your $20 is going, and Blake's about to mention it.
Well, before I mention it, I do want to say one more thing about it. I am glad that we got the NES games, though.
Yes.
I do think the $20 and getting that at least makes up for it. Even though they are infuriating, even though they are like just frustrating to play, it's like I'm glad I can play those classic games.
Yeah, I mean, I would have never bought it for $20,
Right,
but
yeah.
it at least pacifies me a little bit.
Well, and like people keep complaining like they should just put these games on the shop. Like I want to buy them. And like people will buy them. People keep buying like the original Mario Bros. Like for the Wii, for the Wii U. They would buy it for the Switch. But I don't know. For me, I feel like this is a better option. I feel like this is more of a bargain.
Yeah, I would have never bought more than one NES game, couple SNES games.
Right.
And I'm actually still holding out hope that there will be SNES games as part of this. But
Right. But my kind of biggest one was I don't know if it's necessarily 2018, but just for the Switch in general, the voice chat app. It is so backwards to me. It's like, why? It's like for the longest time, Nintendo like refused to do any sort of voice chat. And then they're like, oh, we have a solution. Let's make our own app. It's just like make it in the game, make it built in. I want it just to be like a system thing. I don't want to have to use an app on my phone when I just would use Discord anyway.
Well, you haven't even tried it, so I don't think you get to knock it.
We did try it though.
Oh, you did?
Me and Brock tried it with Splatoon, and it was just like it's voice chat. Like
hey, but you can also look at what's in the shop, and you can see the Splatoon stages available. And Smash Brothers, I think, has a thing in it now, right?
we do.
I'm gonna open it up right now because I still have it downloaded.
I deleted it like the day I got it.
Wait, do they have like Nintendo character emojis though?
Oh no,
I would
no
use
way.
Splatoon only. So worth it.
It's just like I don't know. Just this. There's no reason to use it. So yeah, our Nintendo decisions of 2018 / the Switch's lifetime.
There will be more.
There will
We
be.
will suffer.
It never ends. The life of a Nintendo fan. So our next category was the best single player game. We already talked about multiplayer, but this is the best single player game. I said, and this is kind of a tie because they're too different for me to pick one. I said either Breath of the Wild or Mario Odyssey. We all know how awesome both those games are. So for me, it's like they're too different to pick because just what they did with Breath of the Wild was just so crazy to me compared to all the other Zelda titles. Just like for me, it's just both those games are so great with exploration, and that's like what I like doing in games. Mario is more linear, but I feel like there's so much jam packed into each of the worlds that it's like, and like thinking I logged into or I turned on Mario the other day, and I'm like, I still don't even have like half the moons, and I feel like I explored like that game a ton. So it's just like the exploration for me is what makes those two games the best.
Well, I picked the same two because I think it's pretty obvious that those are top tier games on the system. I'm glad you described it that way because that's pretty much I have the same thoughts. For me, Zelda is just plain fun. Like, it's been
Right.
fun for 2 years now since I'm incredibly slow and keep getting distracted. And I start up Zelda when I want to sit around and play a game. Playing through Mario Odyssey, though, was however many hours of me straight up smiling. It was like me getting
Yeah.
beat over the head with fun, which is almost too much for me. That's why I go back to Zelda. But every time I start Mario Odyssey, it's just like I get happy, and
Right.
yeah, for that reason, it's a great game.
Yeah, I also picked Zelda, just like what Brock was saying. It's something that I just keep coming back to. It's just every aspect of it is so wonderful and beautiful, and like I feel like you can always find something new, which I really appreciate in a game because I always get really sad when I beat something and like there's not really anything to do afterwards, but you still have your save file. I don't know, but Zelda, I feel like there's a lot to go back and do and look at and at least just explore, if anything, like not even have any sort of goal in mind. But then I also picked Pokemon Let's Go Eevee because I was so excited to finally have a Pokemon game on a like big console instead of a handheld device. And it looked really beautiful, and I really liked I liked the shiny hunting thing. It was really infuriating. I was trying to get a shiny Vulpix for the longest time, and I finally got one. But I like that they do make it more attainable in that game, and it was more rewarding that way. I don't know. This is the first game I ever got a shiny in game, other than like the shiny Gyarados from Gen 2, where they just hand it to you. So that was really fun for me to finally get a shiny Pokemon and just like explore this game and really nice updated graphics.
Yeah, I agree with that because it's like I grew up with Pokemon, and I feel like it's such a like pillar of my video game childhood that being able to play basically Yellow version again, but with modern day graphics is just like awesome to me. It's like I'm a kid again.
Yeah, I feel like they really captured how that game was perceived when you originally play it.
Yeah.
It's like preserving how you remember it, which is really nice.
Yeah.
Especially because most of us watched at least a little bit of the anime, and they
Right.
put some stuff of that in there,
Yeah.
and that's
Yes.
honestly
Cool.
how we're going to like imagine it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So our next category is our weirdest game. Brock, you want to start this one off?
Oh, of course, because Shaq always starts things off with a bang. My weirdest game is Shaq freaking Fu, which
Will you tell the people how you got this game?
So I got this game because after I bought my Switch and I didn't beat Zelda. I played Zelda for a bit. I got bored because that game sucks. So I went off to the shop and I thought, I want a sports game. And what was there? NBA Playgrounds. So I bought NBA Playgrounds. My other friend and I, we went through the story. It was great. It's an incredibly broken game. For that reason, I find it fun. But because I bought NBA Playgrounds so early, because I'm such a fan, I got Shaq Fu for free like in July of this year because NBA Playgrounds was truly a broken mess. I can't say I've played Shaq Fu for more than 3, 4, 5 hours, but It's a combination of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you're Shaq, which makes no sense. You're a kung fu master, makes no sense. They make very topical references to things, like Kanye's in the game. Like, why?
Whatever
They made
sells.
a lot of innuendo jokes. I'm like, why? It's the cutscenes are amazing just because I have no bloody idea what's coming next. It's when a cutscene ends, I'm like, wow, every time, and it's not a good wow. It's just oh
It's like,
wow.
oh, I feel empty inside. Wow.
It was yeah, pretty much. That is why Shaq Fu gets my weirdest game water bottle trophy.
Water bottle.
Water bottle trophy. I thought that's what we were giving out.
I
This
think
game
we need
gets
that.
5 out of 5 water bottles.
Yes, with Shaq's face drawn on all of them.
So yeah,
There's the DLC coming out, isn't there? Is it already out?
I think it's already out. The one with Obama.
Yeah. Just
Oh,
that's just like crazy to me in itself.
amazing.
Yeah.
All right, Blake, you want to go?
So, well, I guess we can talk about this one together since
Yeah. That's true. We
So
picked
we
the same
picked-
one again.
yeah. So we picked Katamari. This game is just weird. It's just like the weirdest thing. Like
I love it.
we talked about this last episode, Devin's love for constricting things into a ball.
Oh, it's so
But just
funny.
like
They writhe
this-
around.
Just like the stuff you see in that you're rolling in this ball is just like weird. It's like unsettling weird sometimes.
It's like a guy with the Kuwabara haircut planking on like an elephant going down the street.
Yeah,
I
and
thought
there's
that was-
like
Weird.
there's like in a bunch of there's like two of these guys, they're like holding each other by the feet. They're making like basically a wheel out of themselves and like rolling down the street. Like, oh, okay, I'll pick this up, I guess.
Like, I feel like I saw a person like holding an otter by the feet and swinging it around in circles or something. I don't know. It's really weird. And I love when you complete a constellation or something and you get this cutscene where it's this little girl and she turns around, she's like, I feel something happening. The cosmos are returning. Beauty has
Yeah.
once again come into the cosmos. Pisces has returned.
That's actually pretty accurate.
Are you that little girl?
I
Yes.
wish I was. That game's so funny.
So yeah, like it's just like so strange. Like the last level you get so large that you're literally picking up like
tell
everything
me.
and
Tell
I'm
me.
not telling you anything.
Yeah.
There's like thunder gods and stuff you're grabbing out of the air. It's wild. But I was actually like surprisingly happy at the ending. There's like a little story going on throughout it, and it was just nice. It was happy. So it's weird, but it's all for the good of the little family.
I mean, the game's also better because it's weird. Shaq
Yeah.
Fu is not better because it's weird, but
I agree with
Katamari,
that. I agree with that.
And
Yeah.
its soundtrack is bomb. I love the music in the game.
are you sure?
It's weird, but it's
Yes,
I've
I
never
love
heard
it.
it before. Could you give us a
No.
sample?
You know, maybe not this time, but perhaps after the podcast.
Fair enough.
So yeah, it's weird in a good way. All of its elements are weird, but it's what makes it a good game still.
Yeah,
So it works.
it works. Mostly because it came out of Japan.
Yes. It didn't come out of Shaq.
Oh God, I hope not.
What?
I don't even know what that means, but
It's not a big Shaq turd on the Switch.
Okay, so on to the worst game category. So the worst game for me, I didn't even really play this game. I just watched Blake and a bunch of other people play this, and I don't know why. It was Pokemon Quest, which I don't know why in the world that game was even brought onto a console. You don't even have to do anything. You literally just tap a button and it does everything for you. And it's
Maybe
like
if
the
you're a
most
noob.
okay, Brock. Every time I saw anyone playing that game, it was on auto attack. No one did anything. And it's like the most apt game ever. It's not. I don't know why it's on a console. I don't know.
I'm like embarrassed I even like spent as much time with it
You
as I
spent
did.
so much time.
I was like, it's just like it got me. It was like the mobile addiction. It just got
We
me.
would go over to people's houses and you would just be like, both of you would be like sitting playing this game, and it's terrible. So bad.
I just had to get to the end. I was like, oh, it's a crappy mobile game. I just want to see what happens in it. But
There's
it was
an
just
end?
like, well, I just wanted to like beat it. I wanted to get to the end.
I figured there wasn't an end. They just let you keep paying for
I mean, you can keep going.
Pokestars
Yeah,
or whatever
it's
they
like
are.
super mobile in that way, but I at least wanted to get like through the kind of like the main stages. But yeah, not worth it. I wish I would have definitely spent my time doing something else.
Oh, your time. I was going to point out that it was a free game. Do you
It
remember
was
the Nintendo
free, yes.
Direct when they announced that? You hadn't watched it yet or something. I feel like you were behind me, and that was the first thing they announced in that Direct.
Oh, yeah,
It was
yeah.
going to be about Pokemon.
Yeah.
So I texted, "It's a trap," because I thought that was it. I could
Oh,
not.
yeah. I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I was very convinced that Pokemon Quest was the new Pokemon.
That was their big thing.
Why?
It's gonna be different. It's gonna be a different direction than we're used to. I hope the fans like it.
Yeah.
It's just a test game, you know. The next
Thankfully-
one will be more polished.
The Pokemon won't be squares.
Yeah, we'll put around the edges a little bit.
We'll literally polish it until it's smooth.
Yeah, thankfully we got Let's Go.
Yeah.
So my worst game is kind of a cheap answer, but I think all games are great because someone put their love and heart into developing them. But freaking Rocket League, they keep breaking Rocket League to the point where it crashes 1 out of every 4 games I connect to, and man, is it infuriating. So by default, Rocket League gets worst game because I cannot play the game a quarter of the time right now. I
Great.
hope they patch it. It's probably good for me. You're right.
So
Well,
Rocket League because of connection.
From what I can tell, with certain servers, like everybody joins the server, and then both me and my friend crash.
Great.
So, and then to make matters worse, I've been banned from matchmaking for this.
Yeah.
So I need to fix the code. Apparently, I don't know what I'm doing, but
That's what I was worried about. Like we were playing Smash online, and
our
we kept getting
internet is
kicked.
just awful.
Yeah, we kept getting kicked because of the connection, and we like, of course, it like pops up with this little thing. It's like, hey, if you keep disconnecting, we might ban you. Like,
yeah.
Oh, great, thanks.
It's not our
Exactly what I was
fault,
watching.
except it is kind of our fault because we paid for the worst internet. But it's what we can afford. We're trying.
Go to the library, play Smash there.
Hi, I'm here to play Smash. Here's my library card.
Just keep the volume on mute and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Alright, so now we're on to the best game overall.
Worst to the best.
And I think it's a pretty resounding consensus here. I loved Zelda.
Bouncy Bob?
Bouncy Bob.
Bouncy Bob was...
Bouncy Bob for 1 cent. Buy it right now in the App Store, please. Best-selling game of 2018.
No, I really love Zelda, and I love it now as much as I did when we bought it.
Are you crying right now? What are you doing?
No, sorry, my eyes are really itchy.
Zelda's so beautiful.
Oh my god, I love it. Yeah, no, it's really great. The characters are awesome. Looks beautiful. Gameplay is really good. It's challenging. Not as much plot as I would like, but I'm just being nitpicky. So, great game. 10 out of 10.
I'm gonna give
Like-
11 out of 10 actually.
Oh,
So,
okay.
6 out of
Yeah.
5 water bottles.
I see you.
but yeah, we put this category on here because, or at least I assumed somebody would say Odyssey, but apparently,
I'm surprised
No.
that everyone picked the same.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, it speaks
We're
to
all
the
right.
game. Yeah.
I'd probably say it's one of my favorite games of all time, honestly.
I agree.
So good. Can't be beat.
so good.
I'm like literally like wondering if it will be like how it's gonna compare to the next Zelda.
Ooh,
Like,
next Zelda's gonna be.
I don't even know.
If they add more plot, the next game will be better.
Nope. I guarantee that they
I feel like it'll be
somehow
worse.
enrage everyone. Yeah.
Yeah,
They're gonna
I feel like
change
everyone. I feel like this is like the new Ocarina of Time
Mm.
because forever everyone has always been like that is the best Zelda game.
Mhm.
But now I feel like this kind of like flipped some people.
Yeah.
Now everyone's on Breath of the Wild. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like this is going to be like I don't know. That was I was going to go
The
somewhere.
new Ocarina of Time. Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically the new Ocarina of Time.
I don't know. Nintendo could surprise everyone.
Or they could be Nintendo. And
Okay,
it'll be on
but
my
I'm
list
trying to
next
be
year.
hopeful. I
Don't you
want-
know the history? Don't you know history repeats itself?
I know.
Yeah.
So
Zelda gets the golden water bottle.
Yep.
good. It doesn't need.
It gets the bow-shaped water bottle.
So yeah, anything else that happened this year that we really need to touch on? We pretty much covered every major game that came out on Switch, and
Played a lot of Nintendo games. It was awesome.
Yeah. Good year. Let's hope 2019 is just as great. It will be because Animal Crossing! Ah! But not for all.
yeah, that's a
Probably got a
holiday
while, but
holiday
Yeah.
release
I will
I've ever seen.
that will definitely be my time waster game for sure.
I feel like such a nerd, but when they announced that Animal Crossing was coming to Switch, I did tear up a tiny bit. I'm so happy.
You tear up with everything.
I know!
I'm waiting for that Chibi Robo sequel to pop out of
Ooh,
nowhere.
yeah. Amen.
So-
Chibi Robo.
So yeah, let's do wild prediction next year. I'm
Wild
going with
prediction.
Chibi Robo.
Chibi Robo. I'm gonna say Castlevania new game.
Mm.
That's a smart one.
I don't know. I'm just feeling it.
Really.
I feel like it got enough Smash love that people are kind of on that wagon.
I was gonna say, Shulk. I'm feeling it.
I'm really feeling it. Really feeling it.
I don't know. I feel like they'd make another Bayonetta game or something. I don't
They
know.
literally-
I really don't know.
Okay, stay tuned next week where you'll hear Devin's prediction.
Yeah,
Let's
she needs
do
some time
that.
to
I
think
have to
about
think
it.
about it.
So yeah, I think that's all we've got. Thanks for staying on this long. We check our channel every day because
Every day.
even if we don't release something, you should watch one of our other videos
Every day.
every day. And then when we do release something, you'll know, and you'll be the first to know.
Every day.
Contact us on Fourshade Studios on like literally every platform. I think we even have a website now.
Yeah, FourShadeStudios.com.
FourShadeStudios.com. Yeah.
Email us at FourShadeStudios@gmail.com.
I'm sorry.
Devin will sneeze on you if you don't.
It's true.
So yeah,
Yeah.
thanks for popping in, sticking with us. and there's going to be good stuff to come.
Singing, dancing, it's gonna happen.
Singing, dancing. I'm going to be doing more of this stuff. Will be good.
I love it.
All right.
Bye.
See ya.